Just to be sure, there's a spoiler. With its 8th outing officially complete, Rick and Morty once again divided viewers. But there is no doubt that Season 8 had some incredibly strong adventures, alongside a few episodes that failed to hit the mark. Plenty of fans questioned how Rick and Morty would cope after Justin Roiland's exit, with Season 7 acting as the first big test. It's fair to say the installment was far from the franchise's best, but Season 8 really stepped things up with a much more consistent showing. More often than not, the series managed to deliver a fun and exciting story, utilizing the full Smith family to create unique adventures, all while maintaining Rick and Morty's signature brand of humor. Outside of one or two exceptions, Season 8 managed to score above par and prove that there is still plenty of life in the animated project. However, with one entry being among Rick and Morty's best episodes, it's clear that some adventures significantly outperformed others, making it one of the show's easier seasons to judge. Welcome to Movie Spy. The Last Temptation of Jerry may not be Rick and Morty's worst episode, but it certainly fell below expectations. The Easter-based story saw Jerry being possessed by the spirit of the Easter Bunny and trying to make everyone on Earth have sex, while the protagonists attempted to stop him. The results left a lot to be desired. Whereas the show excels with pop culture references and meta-jokes, its crude humor is hit or miss, and Episode 4 was definitely the latter. The outlandish plot felt more strange than entertaining, and with The Last Temptation of Jerry potentially being Rick and Morty's final holiday special, the episode clearly stands out as Season 8's weakest. The Return of Morty. Jr. had all the potential to be a fun, character-altering moment for Morty, but despite bonding with his son, nothing really changed for the titular character. The duo did have decent chemistry, but their time together was a little bland and far from memorable, hence Season 8's penultimate episode ranking so low. Rick and Summer's side story was a little more entertaining, but it didn't feel like anything the series hadn't done before. Overall, Morty Daddy is far from offensive or low quality, but it's the sort of Rick and Morty episode you may skip upon rewatching the show, as it simply fails to create a strong identity. Season 8's 5th episode is where the franchise starts to return to form, as Cryo-Mort a Rickver delivers the usual antics you'd expect from the protagonists. Their attempted heist on a cryoship goes severely wrong, resulting in the leading duo falling on either side of a class divide that eventually spirals into a free-for-all. As the ship's residents fight and kill each other for missing fortunes, Rick and Morty's parody on capitalism sends an interesting message while providing decent entertainment along the way. Ultimately, it lacks the emotional weight and one-of-a-kind concept that makes other episodes so interesting, but Cryo-Mort a Rickver is still worth a watch for long-term fans. After Season 7's unpopular Rise of the Number Icons, the movie, it was a real gamble for Rick and Morty to deliver another solo episode without one of the main protagonists, but it worked rather well in Season 8. Getting to see more of Spacebeth is always welcome, especially while carrying out a mission alongside her father, instantly giving Valkyric a compelling premise. It also offered the perfect opportunity to bring back Bird Person and Bird Daughter, who had enjoyable cameos towards the conclusion. Once again, the episode didn't blow audiences away or revolutionize Rick and Morty, but it still had a strong plot and focused on an underrated duo, making it a nice addition to Season 8, even without Morty's involvement. Rick and Morty accidentally inserting themselves inside their favorite movie franchise feels so perfect. I'm surprised the show didn't do it sooner. It was a great demonstration of just how chaotic and creative the series is, and it even provided some excellent Rick and Morty cameos for James Gunn and Zack Snyder, who nailed their roles. Seeing Rick go from resenting to admiring Tannenbaum, while Morty was forced to play the movie's villain, was hilarious, especially as Jerry tried to write them a way out. It may not be everyone's taste, but it's these wacky concepts that make the franchise so iconic, and Ricker Than Fiction certainly delivers on this while producing some high-octane action. Compared to Season 8's other Jerry-centric episode, No More Land is a massive improvement, as it puts the spotlight firmly on the comic relief character while making him feel more important than ever. The concept of a dimension-hopping Jerry opening up our main version of the character to all new environments was a fresh idea that worked better than expected. Given how often he is the butt of the joke, it was nice to see Jerry look confident and independent in No More Land, with his family showing real care about his disappearance. The episode even created future possibilities for Jerry after Season 8 while proving he can carry a whole adventure. making it an extremely underrated outing. Just as Nomortland proved Jerry worked in a leading role, the Curix's case of Benjamin Button revealed that Beth and Space Beth make for an excellent central duo. Learning that the Beths had a violent childhood in Rick and Morty shouldn't have come as a big surprise, but it explained their erratic behavior alongside why Rick decided to clone them. Seeing the two return to a childlike state could have been a huge flop, but it turned out to be both exciting and tragic while fleshing out their relationship with Rick. The addition of a fun side plot involving Earthworld was the icing on the cake and broke up the action nicely, cementing episode 6's spot towards the top of Season 8. Rick and Morty is no stranger to having strong premieres, and although Season 7 failed in this department, Season 8 did not. Summer of All Fears highlighted just how deeply Rick's harsh punishments can impact his grandchildren, with both Morty and Summer's personalities completely changing thanks to the alternate reality they spent decades in. Watching Morty cope with his PTSD while Summer struggled to fit back into normal society was gripping yet heartbreaking, with the dark storyline making us sympathize with the Smith family's younger generation. They may be flawed, but Rick and Morty's Matrix parody brutally highlighted how tough Morty and Summer's lives are in what was arguably Season 8's gloomiest episode. It's very rare we see both protagonists almost completely sidelined, but that was the case in The Rick, The Mort, and The Ugly, which focused on alternate versions of Rick and Morty. Seeing the aftermath of the Citadel's collapse was a welcome surprise, and the introduction of Homestead Rick gave us one of the best Rick variants yet. Despite the leading duo's strong relationship, Season 8, Episode 3 highlighted the cruel nature of most Ricks towards Mortys, helping create a thrilling narrative with a somber yet satisfying payoff. The door was also left open for some of these interesting new characters to return, suggesting the episode could be extremely important, as well as one of Season 8's best outings. Knowing almost anyone in The Rick, The Mort, and The Ugly could die also made for higher stakes than usual, making the drama all the more compelling despite still having some genuine moments of humor. And I already can't wait to rewatch this captivating adventure. Not only was Hot Rick Season 8's best episode, but it was one of Rick and Morty's best finales ever, and even contends with its most popular adventures. The show is arguably at its best when focusing on deeper themes and an overarching narrative, something Episode 10 leaned into by exploring Rick's relationship with his daughters. There were some highly tense moments, returning characters, and a devastating conclusion that hit much deeper than expected. Although it's not uncommon for Rick and Morty to leave viewers feeling a little vulnerable, Hot Rick was the first time in years the show has been so raw, earning the #1 spot for Season 8 by some distance. Thanks for watching.